Hello humans, Master DinnerFlax here, bringing you low quality content you deserve, and today we'll be going over Evil Twins, Live Twins, whatever their name is going to be in between of. So, originally, I tested this deck a while ago, and I was like testing variants of it, and I was never actually interested in like the variants. The pure version to me felt like total trash. The variants felt like worst versions of what that deck originally was. Like Unchained Evil Twins was just awful because assuming that it all went through, that massive combo that's super easy to disrupt was literally the equivalent of Rakia Pop Back Row. Or Rakia, or whatever her name is. Rakia, that's it. I totally forgot. So, anyways, I was trying a lot of variants of, like, the Evil Twin engine and other things, and they just weren't good. They didn't mesh well. They didn't have a lot of synergy like people think they do. So, I tried the pure version, and a lot of the builds on YouTube, they felt like Cyber's Turbo, and it was really, really underwhelming because there wasn't enough consistency cards to this. They were playing like Lady Debug and like random Cybers that don't interact with these unless you're like super comboing off, and I just didn't like that. So I decided to like make a clean slate, pretty much. I was like, alright, I know nothing about this deck. I'm going to pretend like I've never seen a build for this deck. How would I build it? So I wanted to max out on pink and blue, so much to the point that I am playing 15 copies of them. 3 of the pink, 3 of the blue, 3 of the mining, and even these cards, which this is literally just this. It doesn't search anything else in the deck. And this card is like really, really rough when you have to use it. But that's actually the thing I like about this card. Is it is a backup plan. Because if these get stopped, if you don't have a card like this, then your turn ends. But if you draw this and this, or like either of the combinations of this, if this gets stopped, yeah, you're locked into, like, you have some pretty strict extra deck locks, but you can play. You can actually play your deck. Because they stop, let's say they stop Kissy. Well, you activate this and then just summon blue, and yeah, you went kind of minus, but the links are going to pay for themselves. And like, you got to play and you got to your engine. And that's ultimately the thing that matters. As long as you get to your engine, it doesn't really matter that you're extra deck locked. Because even when you aren't extra deck locked, many of the times, the only thing you're going into are the Evil Twins anyways. So, like, most turns, you're just cycling between these. So, this extra deck lock really doesn't matter a lot of the time. And when it does matter, it kind of sucks. But, like, at least you get to play. And that's, like, the ultimate thing is, you need to try to play. And, like, having 15 copies of the Live Twins allows you to play. But, yeah, that's enough explanation on these. If you don't know what pink and blue do, one summons the other, and it's vice versa. They're effectively tour guides for each other, and this is how you get access to the Evil Twin links. They're Cyverse, which is kind of interesting. So that means you can play like pretty generic Cyber support, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, this is basically it. Yeah, nothing else to say. They also have like burn and heal effects that I never ever use. Even when they can come up, I just forget they have them. And then triple backup secretary. This is really nice for like IP combos. So like opening one of these, assuming it's not one of these. If you open up one of these and then secretary, you end on IP as well as both the links. So that's pretty nice. Parallel Exceed, kind of the same thing. I'm really trying to find room for an actual XC to make with this. It kind of comes up a bit where you want to make an XE, but I don't know what XE I would play. And the main reason isn't even for the XE, it's actually for Zeus, because Zeus is dumb. That card is actually ignorant, so I want to try to find room for a random rank 4 that's like okay, and then something to put Zeus on top of. Yeah, that's actually just it. And then, like, the reason I was, like, okay, so this is gonna take a little bit of explaining. BLS is okay, and funny enough, that's all he needs to be, is just okay. Banishing a monster, still pretty good effect. 3,000 double attack, that's a lot of damage, especially in a deck where you intimidate your opponent with 1,100 attack monsters. Pushing with a BLS is nice. If you want to say the deck lacks masculinity, BLS has a big stick. So yeah, it's just that I needed something to put pressure that wasn't just like cycling the links, because while these really get you a lot of card advantage, they don't do damage. They really just lack damage. And I'm not playing their main deck monster. Imagine unironically playing an evenly matched that's countered by more cards and also does nothing when it resolves. I am not playing that card. It's just not happening. So I was like, well, I kind of need something to do damage, and all he takes is 1 white mana and 1 black mana, and that's what pink and blue are. So, yeah. And he's also, funny enough, an extender. He is actually just an extender sometimes, where when you're going second, you start getting pink and blue, the links into play, and then you just drop BLS, banish one of their guys, and then turn one of the links into a unicorn, and the unicorn will have an arrow to point to, so you also get a draw and a spin. So it's like, this guy's actually really solid in here. If anything, just as link material. And you can even do that going first. Just really, really disheartening that the card is just a really big extender. But yeah, triple BLS, triple Ash Blossom. I really want to play more hand traps. But I also, like, the thing I would cut would be BLS, but there's, like, a lot of situations where the threat of BLS alone, like, if they see a BLS, they know they have to, like, counter it. Sometimes they'll even side end Lancia. Like, it's really hard to find room for hand traps, and I honestly believe every card in this deck is necessary. And I'll explain all the choices. So Cyanet Mining I've explained. This I've explained. It's a quick play spell, which is kind of nice. Quick play, discard a card, summon one of these, which will, again, summon the other. But after it resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck at all, except the Evil Twins, which is actually a pretty rough restriction. But you can just play alone with these for a few turns. And you got a lot of disruption in the deck anyway, so it's not like you're going to just die from that restriction, so it's fine. And you need the consistency boost. You really do. Because if you don't play these cards, you're down to 9 of these. And that's a lot less consistent by a substantial amount. And you don't want to play a Stratos or even a monster that searches these, even if it special summons itself, because these guys have the restriction where they only summon the other copy from the deck if they're the only monster on the field. So you really need to play spells that get you to these rather than monsters that get you to them. And that's very important to understand. So yeah, 9 more consistency cards. And these cards, triple enemy controller, triple forbidden droplet. I would never play this deck without maxing on both of these. I'm not joking. Like, I know forbidden droplet's like really expensive, but first off, this is online. So if you're playing online, it's free, so that doesn't matter. But like, holy hell, these cards in this deck are insane. Like, so powerful. Going first, going second, same effect. Let's say you're going second, you summon one of these, and they try to hit it with an imp, or like an imperm or effect veiler. If you're going second, econ it, tribute it for cost, take their monster, and you summon the other copy. And then now that's one of the link 2s that get you to your engine. But like Forbidden Droplet, if they're going a negati monster on your thing, just chain Forbidden Droplet, negate their negation monsters, and then you summon the other one. And since now you control no monsters, because that's what Droplet did, you summon the other one, and you get into your engine that way. And then going first, when you get your engine set up, it means you don't have to consolidate both them into one again to get their effects. You can actually keep one of them on board, and then like when they make a play, you tribute Lilla with enemy controller or Droplet, and then you can revive it back. So you disrupted them to get yourself a new disruption, and that's really powerful. But it's also vice versa, where you can tribute Kissy Kill to draw a card. So like these cards are just so powerful in here. It's actually insane. I legitimately, like, if you're going to get this deck, you should really, really, really try to find a way to get Droplet. This card is so powerful in here. It's not even... the amount of power you lose not having this card is insane. Then Double Desires and 1 Upstart. I like doing this a lot. I would normally want to do Triple Desires, but this deck already has like a lot of natural drawing with like Kissy Kill and the Nightmares, because the Nightmares are always co-linked just because of how the arrows of the Evil Twins are. Like they're always co-linked, so you're always drawing off them. You're always drawing off a Kissy Kill, so like you never want to see more than 1 Desire as a duel. So like 2 Desires for when you need it. Desires is good. But, like, you only want to see it once, and you already have enough draw power anyways. So, yeah, I figured 2 Desires was good. And then the Upstart, since I wasn't going to do 3 Desires, I'd just replace 1 for Upstart. And, yeah, that works. And then Reborn, well, when all else fails, you can just revive a link, which will revive a link, which will link summon. And, yeah, you get the point. And then Triple Imperm. It's not a great hand trap, this format. But I didn't feel like there was anything better I could put in here. You might say Nibiru. But Nibiru is really bad in this deck, and I can explain why soon. But yeah, not Nibiru, Imperm. It's like, if you're not playing against Zoo, it's still fine. Like, honestly, it's still fine against everything but Zoo. Then for the side deck, not sure about the Gamma package. It's strong, but only strong going second. Nibiru, let me explain why I don't like this in the main deck. You Nibiruing your opponent literally means you turn off both of these. Unless you have, like, specifically Droplet. Like, this card actually turns your deck off when you punish your opponent with it. And the only hand that doesn't do that is when you have this, and Nibiru. And that's just a lot. I really don't like this, but the only reason I'm even citing it is because of the fact that there are just some decks currently in the meta that like will make an unplayable game state if you don't have Nibiru. So, yeah, triple Nibiru, unfortunately. And then double Skullmeister. Again, this could be any other hand trap, but Skullmeister's actually really good this format, so yeah, I would recommend that. Dark Ruler no more. It means you can do these without giving a shit about their board. And then double Twin and 1 Feather Duster. Yep. Yep, nothing need to explain there. You want to set Guru, I'm going to Feather Duster. Have fun. And then triple of each twin. I know it seems like a lot and excessive, but it actually isn't. You can cycle through all of these, and like you can overcycle through them, so you got to be careful. Like not playing enough of these. You really just want to max out a lot of the time. And then Disciple and Devotee, that's how you get to your IP combo with an extender. And it also gets you a draw, +0 draw, so that's kind of nice. Nightmares, I'm even playing Cerberus, and I'll explain that in a moment. So Phoenix, Cerberus, Unicorn, and Griffin. Griffin is really nice in the deck because it can recycle these cards when you're Fiend locked. because you can't go into access code and win the game when you're fiend locked. The only time you usually win the game when you're fiend locked is when you like draw some BLSs. So when you're fiend locked, you can't go into access code, but you can go into this, and it's like the next best option because it can recycle droplet and enemy controller, and even some of the like imperms and things like that. And that's still really good because you're, again, like I said earlier, you're always going to draw off the nightmares because of how the evil twin arrows work. Cerberus, I need to explain a little bit. So it's definitely the worst legal nightmare. Well, it's definitely the worst nightmare by far. But there's a lot of scenarios when you have IP, and they just like lightning storm you out of nowhere, or they like do a mass board wipe, and you just want to like IP into something that you know will survive. And Cerberus is a destruction when you do it, so it destroys a special summon main monster zone monster, which is kind of nice. But it's mainly there to protect your board for when you have on IP on board, but you don't want to just, but you're getting board wiped. It's like the only thing. And yeah, IP, what you can do instead a lot of times is like IP into one of the twins. The twin won't die because of IP's natural effect, and then that twin can revive the other. But sometimes you don't want to do that, especially depending on what your like board currently is. So it's just like something to keep in mind. I wouldn't blame you for cutting it, but it does have nice arrows anyway, so yeah. Access code, no need to explain. Yeah, it's nice. And then one Unchained Abomination. If I were to cut anything for that XE package I was talking about earlier, it would be the Cerberus and the Abomination. But Abomination's kind of nice. It's nice mid to late game, whereas Cerberus is situationally nice. So those two could be cut for an XE package. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm going to do some like replays and combo tutorials if you guys really want them, because I think this deck's like super dynamic in how it works, and it's very interesting. It's like it's very mid-range, but it can like play super lax and kind of like sit on back rows and hand traps for a turn or two, and that's kind of nice. I actually really like that about this deck. Is it just plays very well. It draws a lot of cards. It can play a lot of goofy stuff like BLS just because, like, it has a lot of draw power, and it's, like, super, like, it's very simple. It's very simple, but it's not, like, monkey brain. But it's really nice to play. And, yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. And remember, Master DinnerFlax will take your soul.